We've got our next semifinal match coming up featuring CleffTheGod and Joke. Both have secured Madden Bowl bids this afternoon, as a lot of competitors have today as well. James Coe here with you, joined alongside by the great RG. We've got Drini and one great user on the far side as well. And gentlemen, we were talking just off camera. We were all just in awe of what we saw from Noah in terms of his defensive hit stick.
Oh yeah, I mean, RG told me, Drini, you got a good stick, but but nothing like Noah's, bro. Noah just insane. But we gotta talk about this game right here, Clef versus Joke. Joke is finally looking for his first belt, and I'm excited to see if Joke can get it done. Last tournament, he lost in the Final Four. He's back in the Final Four. I want to see if Clef can break his heart once again.
We are going to get a first-time belt winner, RG, but the two men, off to the side here in terms of Joke and Clef, boy, their names have been synonymous with competitive Madden, but they just haven't been able to break through.
Yeah, this is the complete opposite of the Noah situation, where Noah is being compared to Tobin. Nobody expected him to be here. These are two guys that you fully expected to be here at the end of this Madden Challenge, and here they are, one win away. One of them is going to advance to that finals and have a chance at that belt. We're just going to have to find out who it is, though, and I personally can't wait. This is the type of matchup that us Madden fans dream about.
User, your guy Clef, standing on stage just off to our right over here and searching for his first belt as well. What kind of nerves do you think he's feeling right now? Or is he feeling any at all?
Well, you've been hearing it all day, man. We done changed his name to CleffTheGod. You've been hearing Mo saying he's one of the clutchest players in the Madden community. We're getting ready to see, because he's getting ready to play against arguably one of the toughest Madden players in the community, Joke. So I'm ready to see if Clef can tighten up his run.
Bridesmaids is how we look at this thing. These guys have been so close so often. I'm new to the community, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but maybe other than Problem, are these the two best guys that have not yet won the belt?
I would say, they're right there, for sure. Especially Joke, he's just constantly just giving himself so many opportunities, constantly making these live events, and just hasn't been able to get over that hump and actually win one. But Clef, on the other end of that, he's a great player, you know what I mean? This is one of the guys that I really look forward to watching in the years to come. Somebody I always look forward to seeing being at the very top of the Madden leaderboard.
Rushing the ball here as we check this out, Mo, I mean, that's going to be critical. They both do it very well.
Yeah, and how amazing is that? And Noah's sitting in the finals, and that's what he's been doing as well. It's kind of been the storyline of this entire Madden year. If you run the ball, you're going to have success.
All right, so let's get a little closer to figure out who can do what. And talking about Joke, 10 times he has been around getting this close, but doesn't have the belt yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you don't get a belt, you can't. It's hard to earn respect. Everybody knows him as a great player, but until you can get over that hump and actually win, nothing matters.
Looking at the roster he's assembled, what do you like?
I love that Devin Bush. I love that Derwin James. And I love that playbook he has, that Denver Broncos playbook. As the best playbook he could possibly get.
On over to Clef, who will be running that Bears playbook, and he is here for an EA Major Final Four appearance. Loving that, but again, just trying to keep on cruising.
And like I said earlier, those top three ranks in offense and defense, probably the only player in the entire field that has that. And like I said earlier, he is somebody that I always look forward to watching.
When he went picking, here's what he got. Loves that Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and he loves that Green Bay playbook. He told me that was the #1 playbook he wanted, and he loves that Jair Alexander. He said that was his #1 cornerback in the draft. Most people had the Shaq Griffin, but he loved that Jair Alexander.
Yeah, Deion Sanders and Jair Alexander. Speed and coverage abilities there. And these guys know each other pretty well. At a Mudhead tourney in late September, Joke knocked out Clef with a hard-fought win. Now he's trying to knock him out again for the second time in 4 months. Dallas tourney, Madden 19, Clef demolished Joke by 21. Clef wearing his hometown Tampa Bay colors.
I'm really excited for this matchup. We're definitely going to see some emotion on both sides right here.
We were talking about how often Joke gets close. Now, Skimbo has gotten close and actually cleared the hurdles. But 26-year-old Rydell Brito, top 5 player, no question, but not a belt winner yet. And that's the center of the corn maze right here as we discuss what's up for him. You and I were talking a little bit. We both like golf just enough to know Phil Mickelson, who for 12 years was described as the best player to never win a major, right? He had a 5-year stretch where he had, I think it was 17 top 10 finishes, never an actual win. No green jackets, no trophies. So he's looking for his Phil Mickelson breakthrough here.
I think that's as good of a comparison as you're going to find. You know, he really just hasn't got it done. It's the only thing he hasn't done. Everybody knows he's phenomenal. Everybody knows he's going to be there at the end, but he just hasn't pushed through and actually took it home.
So let's see if this is his, what would that be, the 2004 Masters. Hit that 18-foot birdie on 18 and be able to go forward with some confidence. Jameis Winston, the hometown quarterback. We mentioned how much Clef loves his Tampa Bay Bucks. He's getting harassed, and down he goes right away.
And I talked to Clef. I asked him, you know, what is he going to do? He said, I'm going to audible around. I'm not going to let Joke just man up all my guys. And early on, it looks like he's going away from that. Joke is just sitting in this two-man under.
Von Miller jumped on him there to bring up a 2nd and 16.
Clef's going to have to be really patient in this game. Take what Joke gives you. Joke's never going to give up a big play.
Clef number 2 in total offense per game. Looking to throw again. And hoisting it, looking deep. That's his man! That's Tyreek! That's 6 right away!
And Clef's seen him on the play before. He said, I'm not going to miss you again. And that's exactly what happened. He hits him up top right after I said Joke's not going to give up a big play. And that could, and for these guys, I promise, these guys are 2 defensive players. I know Clef getting 7 on his first drive. He feels like this game may just be over.
49 seconds in, that's a bold statement, and Tyreek Hill.
And sometimes, you know, that's what it takes in this MUT draft mode. If you're able to get the lead, it's really hard to lose it. And, you know, for Clef, if he's able to stand up for himself in this drive, oh, it looked like he was lining up a his stick right there with Adrian Amos.
Get you back to this play that goes for 79 beautiful Tampa Bay Buccaneer yards.
Yeah, I don't like exactly what he's doing right now.
There's Barkley, a little bit better that time, but not enough for the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
And you know, this is an early passing situation for Joke. Unless Clef gives him just an easy look to run the ball, Joke's going to have to pass the ball. That's something he doesn't love to do on 3rd down.
Out of the Broncos playbook, strong post, right? You can run and pass well out of it. One of his favorite playbooks, he says.
Look for the post over the middle to the tight end. Great defense.
Yeah, can't get that man free. So Kyler Murray does finally throw him open.
Oh my God.
Hollywood Brown.
And Clef, he got clicked onto the guy he wasn't expecting to get clicked onto. I think he thought he was going to get clicked onto that cornerback and make the hit stick. Really fortunate play there for Joke, especially with Marquise Brown just kind of floating in the air for a second there.
Marquise Brown with that 95 speed designation, too.
Probably going to see Joke snap another halfback dive.
Midway through the first quarter. There's Barkley. And he shimmies free. He's got the first down.
And, you know, that's the problem. When you run someone else's defense, you know, this is Joke's defense. He's going to know exactly how to attack, and that's all that was right there.
Winner of this game gets the 17-year-old Noah. What a great game that was just a little while ago. At 20-14, a hard-fought final.
Clef looks really uncomfortable right now.
Cook tripped up. That's a good tackle right there by Leighton Vander Esch, who was huge for Clef in the quarterfinal round.
I think Clef's going to go to this edge blitz early on. He doesn't like the look of this cover 4, and I don't blame him. He looks really uncomfortable in that defense.
Dalvin Cook in the backfield now, trying to make sure he keeps Barkley without fatigue. Gonna need him here late, you figure.
I love what Clef's doing. He's just got to make a play.
Oh, the defensive adjustments early. But there's Cook bursting through. He'll twist and make it 1st and goal.
Yeah, but at the 8-yard line, it's really easy to stand up for yourself. You just need a couple good plays, make your opponent kick a field goal. If you can get Joke in a passing situation down here, this is where he likes to make some mistakes.
Joke usually about the run and not the pass. That's very much by design. Of course, he's got a quarterback here that can run it a bit too, in Kyler Murray. But there's Barkley trying to turn the corner. Oh, and he loses yards here.
And you know, we just raved about Noah's stick work. That's great stick work right there by Clef. Not laying the his stick, but clicking on, making the tackle, making sure his Adrian Amos doesn't get spin moved right there.
Once again for Joke, it's all about how close he comes and how that summit gets in sight. He just can't get to the top of it. And he's now in a situation where he's behind early. Barkley squirming to the 5.
And 3rd and goal at the 6, it's really easy to make a mistake down here. I'm interested to see what Joke is going to go to, excuse me. We won't find out until the end of the first quarter, though.
As in the NFL, it's not necessarily oceanfront real estate when you're parked at the 5, right? I mean, the field condenses on you. There are fewer things you can do.
Yeah, you know, it gets really tough down here. I think Joke's probably just going to end up running the ball, take his field goal. He feels like he's going to play great defense. Just kind of had a few lapses, you know, as far as adjustments go. But if you're Clef, this is still a scary down. You need to be able to stop this halfback stretch.
Clef's defense has been ants on a popsicle stick here so far, just swarming right at him. Starting the second quarter, Joke down 7. It's Barkley pushing only to the 4.
Frank Clark with the big hit right there on Barkley. And Joke's going to kick his field goal right here. If you're Clef, that's a huge stand right there.
Both these teams using Greg the Leg, Greg Zerline, as the kicker. And there it is. It's 7-3, but you'll take that if you're Clef, right?
Yeah, I think both players are fine with that. Joke, he knows himself. He's a defensive player. He thinks he can stop Clef. He thinks Clef is turnover prone. So I love what Joke did right there, just not forcing anything on 3rd down. It's going to be really tough to complete a pass down there and just kicking his field goal.
Now, Clef just got done gashing Crush's run defense. He won 31-21 earlier today. Josh Lewin with Mo, who won this event 4 years ago, almost to the date 4 years ago, in a thriller against Skimbo. Devontae Freeman is the running back, and a guy that loves to run. Clef, we talked about it in the quarterfinal, Mo. Kind of weird that he'd have only Devontae Freeman picked in the draft. But boy, Freeman was money for him earlier today. 2 long touchdowns.
And I love Clef audibling. I love him making Joke uncomfortable on defense.
There's Freeman. And a healthy gain here, 7.
Yep, I love what Clef is doing early on in this game. Joke hasn't seen a lot of people audible around on him, and I figured he may try this. You know, just get Joke out of that man-to-man defense, make him audible around, and then maybe even audible back. You know, try to catch him off guard.
A lot of inside zone this entire tourney for Clef. They've been running that very well.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him go right back to that inside zone again.
Hasn't asked Jameis Winston to do a whole lot. Of course, in real life this year, Winston was a turnover machine in Tampa Bay.
And he has to burn a timeout right there because his player was still motioning. It wasn't going to let him snap the ball. Great awareness there by Clef to not take the delay of game, though.
So as Clef continues on that tack, I mean, the defensive adjustments are great. Or the offensive adjustments he's making here. Joke, going to ask you here in just a second, Mo, if there's anything hyper-aggressive that he can do, just to kind of try to go get a turnover at some point.
He's going to have to stop the run right here. You know, he's got to get Clef to a 3rd down.
There is the 3rd down.
You know, Clef, he wants to air the ball out. He doesn't want to be a runner. You know, so on 3rd and 2, where you probably would see Joke run, or you would see Noah run, this is more than likely going to be a passing situation for Clef.
Clef's again got Tyreek Hill, likes to use Andre Reed. He's got Devontae Parker in motion, as you see, heading up to your left. And on a 3rd and 2, sometimes this is where you get Grady turn it over.
I think this is going to be good defense.
Winston will rush for it and then slide for it right near midfield, move those chains.
And he had the coverage, just couldn't contain the quarterback. Great coverage there by Joke. You know, he sent 5. He expected to get to the quarterback, but they broke contain. Jameis Winston able to scramble for a few yards, pick up the 1st down.
So, Mo, other than Tyreek Hill getting free, it seems like Joke's actually doing okay, holding Clef reasonably close to the vest here.
It's going to be tough sledding, you know, trying to pass the ball versus Joke. I think you got to find different ways to mix in different run plays. I really liked when Clef was going to tight, that shotgun tight formation. It looked like Joke wasn't completely comfortable versus that. If I was Clef, I would look to go back to it.
With the rush coming, this ball tipped, but Hill with a bobble has got it, and he's gone.
And I can't believe Joke gave that up again. I know for a fact Tyreek Hill is Clef's #1 player. He wants him in every single draft, and Clef taking complete advantage of Joke right now.
Tyreek Hill, the 3-time Pro Bowler, drafted out of Little Western Alabama after he had washed out Oklahoma State. That's the #1 moneymaker for Clef.
Some very uncharacteristic things going on by Joke right now.
Plenty of time to recover, though, as Cook is on the return of the 35. Here's your Snickers replay.
And you know, Joke's seen Clef play versus Crush, and this is a play that Clef looked to often. I'm very surprised for Joke to just give that up and look at the celebration by Clef.
All right, you talked about some uncharacteristic play from Joke so far.
Yeah, just some odd adjustments that, you know, he knows that the streak is going to be there if he leaves it. You know, if he puts that third on the opposite side, his third just isn't going to be able to get there in time. And, you know, Joke knows that. So it's just very odd to me that he's leaving that open.
And just a little pop psychology. I mean, again, getting this close. Is he pressing? Is he trying to do something a little different to change his luck?
You know, I think Joke might be relying on Clef to run the play called Dagger a little too much out of that gun tray Y flex. And Clef just isn't going to Dagger. You know, he's just putting Tyreek Hill on a streak and looking for him, and he's wide open.
All right, a chance to recollect himself now. That one batted down at the line of scrimmage. He had Shannon Sharp, but he couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, and you know, that's the problem when you have that Kyler Murray. He's a little bit smaller, and if you're Joke, you do not want to be at 3rd and 8. This is a passing situation. Joke wants to be able to run the ball. And this could get really dangerous here if Clef's able to hold him, you know, make it this a 4th and short.
Yeah, remember, Clef's got Jair Alexander, Deion Sanders back there, Adrian Amos at safety.
Great defense.
Murray flips it. There's Alexander. Jair Alexander to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Clef.
And Clef is right. Those were great adjustments. He actually manned up the cornerback and then touched him so he wouldn't follow him. So it was more like a cross man on that motion slant. Just great defense there by Clef. He knew all he had to guard was the tight end, and there was absolutely nothing open, and Joke's in a huge hole, especially for the way he plays offense.
You dialed this up, partner. One of the top players Clef was hoping to land in the draft was Jair Alexander, and he just paid off.
Yeah, pick 6 at a stage like this. You know, all Clef needs to do is not give up a touchdown before half, and he's in great position.
I'll take you back to what it looked like. There was pressure coming, too.
There's just nothing going to be open right there. He's either going to throw a sack or a pick. He was either going to get sacked or throw a pick, and he chose the latter. Very odd situation for Joke right now. He has to find a way to get 7.
Joke, whose former full-time job was in loss prevention.
I got deep for that.
Ironically, and he gives it away right there to fall behind by 18.
And Clef saying, I got the lock. You know, I got the defense for that. You're going to have to do something else, and I think he might be right.
And again, just a subtle reminder, Joke, when he's really in his comfort zone, is running the ball. That's why he's got Barkley. As the pocket collapses, it's another sack for Clef.
And I love Clef not using that timeout right here. He's already up 3 possessions. No reason to try to force and get the ball back. Let the clock run. If Joke wants to make a mistake, let him. Just be comfortable with the 3-possession lead at halftime. You don't need this ball back.
And if you're Joke, how do you avoid that thought bubble over your head, Mo, that says something like, not again?
You know, and it's hard to get out your head, especially at this point being down 3 possessions. I'm sure that's all he's thinking about.
Clef seems very poised right now, very chill.
Let's go,
Dangerous
man.
pass.
He's manned up, too.
Kyler Murray has started 1 of 4 here for Joke.
And, you know, the crazy thing is, Joke really does play great defense. He's just given up some huge plays. Like I said earlier, very uncharacteristic out of Joke.
Boy, and that Jair Alexander pick 6, I mean, that's tough to come back from, too.
Yeah, once you put yourself in this big of a hole, it's going to be really tough for Joke going forward. You know, you got to hope that Clef tries to force something right here, but I really doubt he's going to, being up 3 possessions. He knows that these 3 points or even 7, you know, they don't make much of a difference. But if you turn the ball over here, if you're Clef, it can make all the difference in the game.
Time to make a play defensively if you're Joke. No kidding here. He's put himself in the best possible position. He's played a few very clean, very crisp games this week. Superstitious guy was able to talk the commissioner into getting the Patriots logo and the Patriots uniforms because he ran that so well in this building a couple of months ago. Didn't want to mess with that. But has his luck this week run out? Clef trying to just take that mojo right away from him.
I'd be very surprised if Clef doesn't just run the ball here. No point in trying to force anything.
There's Devontae Freeman. He gets bashed. He gets lowered.
And this is where you may take a chance if you're Clef.
Now he's looking here with Jameis Winston, flips it out. And getting closer to field goal range anyway, which is clutch because that could take you to an actual 3-touchdown lead if you get to 24-3.
And he is in field goal range. You know, Joke just looks a little unprepared, honestly. He's doing some things that I didn't expect to see from him. You know, we seen earlier he was running a lot of cross man, but once Clef was audibling around, I think it just completely threw Joke off, and now he really has no idea what to do.
From the 36, and you bet already at the fringe of field goal range. If you don't take a sack, you could very well make it 24-3 at the break.
Yeah, Joke's going to have to find a way to hit the running back in the backfield here because he already is in field goal range. Looks like Clef might take a shot here. I love this call.
Needs to borrow that from Clef, who had 7 sacks in the quarterfinal from 5 different players. Winston with time. Winston, boogie mode here, is going to slide to the 31, 32-yard line.
And Clef's not going to mess with it anymore. He's just going to wind this clock down, call a timeout, and kick his 3.
Trying to bring some sand to the beach here. I mean, things are already going quite well. Timeout taken with the 2 seconds to go. And it's not like you get a real halftime here, right? I mean, you get to breathe for a minute, but not much more than that. It's right back at it.
You know, and I think everybody would have picked Joke to win this game just based off matchups, but Clef, you know, this is what I'm saying. He's a fighter. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Maybe it is Clef's time. At halftime, 24-3. Let's go to James at the desk.
Thank you, Josh. Be sure to look in the Ultimate Team menu for the competitive tab and check out the new Madden Challenge themed game day program. Get Madden Pro players as coaches, including Kurt Tobin, Bugs, Beast Mode Matt, Crush, and our very own Serious Mo. You can also get MCS uniforms and some exclusive MUT content right now. All right, before we get back to the game, CleffTheGod is getting closer to a real shot at his first Madden Major belt. Let's listen to CleffTheGod in Audible.
Reed!
With the bottle has got it, and he's gone.
Come on, man. D! Come on, man. Adjusty! Get adjusty! Come on! Oh, I got D for that. I done seen that a lot. I got D for it.
Some interesting sounds coming out of that man's mouth right there.
Yeah, you know, that's just Tyreek. You know, Clef, that is the one guy you can't leave because Clef is going to be staring him down every single play. And you know, Joke's just left him a few times. And if you're Joke, you got to find a way to get 7 early in this second half, or else it's going to be curtains.
Noah gave us he gave us so much defense. I mean, there have been some clip and save quotes here today. So the long, shrill voice cracking, I'm going through puberty as I say it, Tyreek has now joined the list thanks to Clef. Repping the 386, that's his home area code, Volusia County, back in Florida. And we've talked about Clef having played some football himself. He worked as running backs coach and head JV coach at New Smyrna Beach High School back home, but now is focusing on Madden, full-time, full stop. All right, time for Joke to dig deep here. Remember, Noah's got next. As once again, you know, it's the last 4 going on 5 majors, Mo. There's been a teenager in the final game every time. So Noah keeps that streak alive. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, you know, they had a youth movement a couple years ago, and it just keeps on growing and growing and getting stronger by the day.
Noah's mom has become kind of a sidecar star this week as that one's ladled out. Oh, and a broken tackle, Sharp with the first down. She went up to Joke and said, I don't know if this is weird or not. She said, I dreamed last night that it was my son and you in the final last night. And she didn't even know. She said, is that possible? I mean, it is 64-1 odds, really. I mean, that could happen. But that could happen if there's a comeback here.
That's insane right there.
Right?
You know, and that's all it takes is a comeback. All it takes is Joke winning this game because Noah's already sitting there waiting.
Not to be a dork about this, but I'm looking at those Patriots uniforms. Wasn't there a Super Bowl not too long ago against an NFC South team where it was 28-3?
Yeah, you're right. Those Atlanta Falcons. We make fun of Joe Rice. Wesley now. He's upgraded his name to Wesley.
Yeah, get that right.
But he's a huge, you know, Georgia Bulldogs, Atlanta Falcons, and they've both blown some big leads in the last couple of years.
I didn't mean to cheese off all of Atlanta bringing that up. Sorry, but I'm just saying this game's not over. Murray, Jones with the crossing route, and he'll nudge his way to the first down sticks.
And if Joke's able to score before this 2-minute mark in the third, he's got a real shot. You know, he's just gonna have to force a couple 3-and-outs. Great patience.
Probing and finding the sideline route to the great Jerry Rice.
And Joke's players are dead tired, but he has no choice but to hurry up to the line. He's got to get these plays off.
Well, it's a long journey back into this one, but these are some positive steps down that road on this drive. Barkley. Boy, that hole closed up pretty quickly, didn't it? Devin White is a great pickup for a lot of these players in this tournament, made that play.
And, you know, if you told Joke before the game you're going to have 11 rushes for 33 yards, he would be like, I probably lost that game. And, you know, that's been the story so far. He just hasn't been able to get that run game going at all.
That's a great point. I mean, normally this is a guy running for what, 120 a game, 130? 33 right now. Passing, fingertip catch, Hollywood Brown, first down and goal.
And Joke's actually making some great reads right now. He's got to find a way to get this into the end zone.
That's usually how he butters his bread anyway. I mean, he's a run-first guy. He's got Barkley. Oh, and that misconnect, a little bit of a disconnect might cost him.
And it looked like Clef ran commit, and that would have been a wide-open touchdown walk-in. And, you know, his guy just doesn't animate on the ball, ends up being a fumble. And now the clock is still ticking. So you go from having a touchdown to having to fight, and the balls and the clock is going to continue to tick. And now you might not even get in the end zone. 3rd and goal at the 7 is going to be really difficult.
Jair Alexander keeps making plays. And Clef is getting closer now. We're getting late in the 3rd quarter. Winter is coming for Joke.
He's got to get in right here.
Shannon Sharp, you keep your eyes on, tight right. And it's Barkley. And again, he just gets smoked.
And he's got to go for it. This is the play of the game. If he doesn't get this game's absolutely over.
Yeah, Clef can just run. All right, so this is it, really. I mean, we're not even in the 4th quarter yet, but we're dialing it up that this is the play of the game.
En route, Marquise Brown.
Didn't get rid of it.
Get him, Bosa.
And, you know, Clef was going to be all over that en route anyways. Bosa with the instant shed. Clef played phenomenal defense all game, and Joke just has no answer for it at all.
Well,
Clef's just going to use this clock and try to get out of here as fast as possible.
Now, he is in the shadow of his end zone here, so if there is a little bit of defensive stick work to be had from Joke, this is the geography that you want, right? I mean, you're down this close. Take the ball away here.
The problem is Clef's a smart enough player where he knows if he just runs the ball 3 times on these, even if Joke scores these next 2 possessions, if he just runs the ball 3 times, even if he goes 3 and out, Joke's going to have too much of an uphill battle. It's going to be over no matter what.
Ryan Kerrigan smothers the ball carrier, but yeah, you're going to have to start using timeouts. I mean, you need to just drop to your knees and pray here.
Yeah, you need a fumble. So, you know, you got to use your timeouts. You need an onside kick at some point. It's just a really steep uphill battle for Joke, and you just feel for him because he's been so close. You know, this is 3 tournaments in a row where he's got a top 6, top 4, top 4. You know, those are incredible, you know, numbers.
Yeah, 3 consecutive top 5 finishes at majors. I mean, that's dazzling.
You know, he's really had the best Madden year out of anybody, you know, and he just hasn't been able to get that belt. To be in the conversation to win a belt with only a couple games to play in that many tournaments in a row is very difficult.
There's Devontae Freeman, and a couple more first downs, and this game is history.
You know, we could talk all day about how Joke couldn't get it going on offense, but the story of the game is those 2 big plays that Tyreek Hill, those really did Joke in. He never wants to play from behind. He wants to be able to control the clock. And, you know, even if he's not going to get huge gains, he wants to be able to pick up a few yards and keep the possession going, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Clef is 5 minutes away now. We're hitting the 4th quarter, presented by Snickers.
I dig because suddenly people think it's okay to talk on speakerphone in public.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. Just some lady digging a giant hole.
Digging a huge hole.
On standby is 17-year-old Noah, who is waiting, I guess now, for Clef. I mean, this is looking very much like a Clef versus Noah final. We know it's going to be a first-time belt winner now. But Mr. Hitstick, guy is developing quite a reputation this week. He's waiting for Clef if Joke can't pull off the miracle.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be a tough game. You know, I don't know who to give the edge to because Clef has came out here and adjusted to this run game, and he's been able to slow Joke down. But Noah's defense is just so good. If he can get Clef into some tough situations, you never know. You know what I mean? Clef is and that's the problem. You know, Noah's been the underdog in all of these matches, and he's really dominated in almost every single game he's played. So, you know, it's hard to continue to consider him an underdog when he's playing such good football.
I wasn't here last year, but what were you guys saying about Krotobin around this time? A similar thing?
Yeah, Krotobin, you know, he had one of the little bit of an easier bracket, and Krotobin kind of ran through it, and then, you know, next thing you know, he's in the Final Four, and then next thing you know, he's in the finals playing Drini.
Well, Devontae Freeman keeps getting loose, and this keeps getting to be a taller hill to climb for Joke.
Yeah, this one's all but over. Joke has no timeouts left. Clef's going to be able to take this down to at least the 2-minute warning before Joke even gets the ball back. And in this game, it's so hard to score quickly, especially with no abilities.
And again, Joke says, you know, I've done everything but win a belt. I've won underground tournaments, but it's just not the same. I want the belt.
And you know, it's not going to come today. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's just not going to come today.
So turning to Clef, and again, we've said, you know, kind of always a bridesmaid, never a bride too in these tournaments. He's been in Final 8s. He lost to Goes in the quarterfinals of the club championship, but now, I mean, he can really smell this now.
Yeah, Clef kind of has that factor where if he makes it to this live event or he makes it to the live tournament, he's got to be one of the favorites just because he does have that clutch factor. He's going to be comfortable on that stage, and, you know, he's showing it right now. Like, he is one of the favorites to win this tournament.
And as Freeman drags himself to midfield, I think the other thing we got to point out is these two games today, Clef has scored 31 and 24. So there's a train coming hot down the track for Noah.
Yeah, extremely impressive. But Noah's going to slow Clef down. You know, he's going to run a lot of coverage defenses. You're not going to see him blitzing. You know, he's going to be dropping back into coverage, having those deep zones out there, making Clef throw underneath. And the question will be, is Clef okay with taking those underneath routes?
I think the Jenga block spilled all over the table when that Jair Alexander pick nestled into his hands, right? I mean, it just kind of felt like the balloon popped at that point for Joke.
Yeah, and you know, Joke's just going to go ahead and get out of there. He realizes, you know, this one's over. You know, just an unfortunate start to that game, and Joke could never really recover.
Got one last great call from the great Scott Cole coming up, and it should be a dandy of a ball game. That beautiful belt, which, you know, kind of haunting in those Lakers colors this week, the beautiful purple and gold. But here's a chance for Clef to hoist that thing, and he's got to be thinking, man, I am so close now.
One game away, you know, and he's a pretty big favorite in this game. All he has to do is keep his head unfocused, and he's going to be able to get it done, I think.